Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tokyo Ghoul Break My Ass with 1,000 questions in the Discord, but we're here to fix that. So this time we're going to be going over some more updates. You can even call them patch notes, but they're not actually patch notes, they're actually leaks. In the future, if I include them in the patch notes playlist, if there is ever one in the future, then these are not patch notes, these are just leaks. So the reason why I'm specifying that is because we don't know as to when this will be in the game. So that's why I specifically am calling them leaks. But yeah, but that being said, for now I'll just leave them in the newbie guide playlist. But yeah, so there are a lot of new stuff being added to the game sooner or later. Again, we don't know yet, but very interesting stuff to go over. So let's go over it. Let's quickly exit this full screen mode over here that I have. Ooh, a little too small for my liking. But yeah, not we don't really need any accounts in this one, so I just had it open for a nice background. So, oops, don't want to start from the heavy stuff. Yeah. So the main focus of these leaks are gonna be over a new type of grind being introduced in the game, and it's gonna be related to cells. So actually, I think we might need the account. So yeah, as you already know, we have cells in the games, various different types of cells. Okay, good thing I didn't salvage all of them. So low rarity cells, and then medium rarity cells, and then the UR ones, which you can put on the fodder units, and then the rated cells, you know, the ones which have the rating on them. These ones have full score, red factors in them. Factors are the attack, and the pen rate, and then you can modify them to get a whole bunch of modifiers on them. For example, buff removal, and then for example here we have disruption. So you can get a lot of modifiers on them. And then mainly there's just three types of them, which is HP, defense, and regen. So this is going to be important, but as of right now, for the modifiers in the cells, we have disruption, buff removal, and then this death buff thingy, or whatever this is. Oh no, this is basic stat boosts. Let me just click this. Yeah. So over here, as you can see, we have resurrection, we have basic stats boost. Now this attack stat boost, and then this one's basic stat boost, and then we have reflex, and then we have the death buffs one, and then we have restriction, ignore, and then yeah, that's about it. Like, you get the point. These are all the modifiers that we have currently in the game. So why is this all of this important? So the developers have, I think, have found another way to implement a gear system in the game, which is not anything new for this game, to be honest. We have the tactics and whatnot, but yeah. So this is gonna be the interface for the new thingy, and then this is probably gonna be related to the rarity of the things that we can unlock, and then I'll be getting over to what we're gonna be unlocking to begin with. But as you can see over here, this is just the UI elements of the entire mode, and then over here we have the cell itself. And this is, in my opinion, this is probably going to be something related to energy, or energy certificates, or usage certificates. So there's that, and then here's the cell itself. So you might be wondering, then does this cell go, whoops, does this cell go instead of any of these? Actually, here's the catch. This cell is actually gonna be slotted in an entirely new bracket for itself. So this is gonna be attack, defense, and HP all together. So this is basically all of the cells above in one cell beneath it. Now this doesn't mean that you cannot equip all of them at once. You can. You can have 4 cells now. So, and then that's not it. You can even modify this one, and as we can see over here. So for every 4 rapport, whatever you wanna call it, obtained by allied characters on the field, increases self skill level for every 2 shake obtained by the enemy characters. So this is like, if you're wondering what this shake and this ultra belly is, these are actually just the normal skills used by the units. Underbelly is not a unit specific attack. This is actually a skill that is given out to several units in the game, right? So this is not a character specific attack. This can be put on to anyone who does the underbelly damage. Now this is just one example of it. So this particular cell, which has been modified, and as you can see, this one gives HP, defense, and attack. To attack is 4300. It is blocked by this thingy, but over here you can see it is 4300. So this one gives you all 3 stats, and apart from that, it also gives you a modifier like the ones that we have right now. For example, this buff removal is the modifier on this cell, right? So similarly, we have a modifier on this cell, and as of right now, these modifiers do not have any icons. As you can see, if you can see the cursor, hang on, let me double check if you can. Yeah, you can. So as you can see over my cursor over here, this is supposed to be the modifier, but it has been widened out because there is no UI for it at the moment. So this is being still being developed. But yeah, so there's gonna be modifiers for these universal cells as well. Now this is very interesting for the game because this is going to change how we play the game. This is going to bring back a lot of characters back from the dead, characters which are flawed by let's say old characters who have a good kit, a timeless kit you can say, but then they don't have the disrupt immunity because the old units did not have those in their refines, right? So let's say that this one has disrupt immunity. Now I'm not saying that this is guaranteed and it's gonna have disrupt immunity. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like this is a skill level up modifier, so it's not too out of the question that we can have something even more than this or something lesser than a skill up. So, but to be fair, skill up is not exactly a very powerful modifier, but still, it's like very good to have, right? Because for old players, they're gonna be knowing that we used to use Blue Uta earlier just to get the skill ups, and then we used to use Sen. And I'm not talking about PVE; I'm talking about PvP. We needed those level 3 skills. So we used to run buffers who just gave the skill ups and nothing else, and then slowly they became replaced with backups who would give you skill level ups. For example, Mken, he was the first one to be replacing the Uta and then the Sen, because you would in Auguri you would no longer need them. You could just get one kill and then all of your skills would be leveled up automatically without having to waste a space on the field. So what I'm trying to say is that slowly over time, old units which served a very one directional purpose got replaced with units which did that along with something else, right? So this cell is basically trying to do the exact same thing. This is gonna be doing the function of a cell, the function of a modifier, and it's gonna be better modifiers than the ones that we already have, because as I already showed you, there is no modifier like this one that is present in this one. So yeah, not that's but that being said, these modifiers are very special. These are not like the ones that we have again, because they need something to be activated. Now the ones that we have just need you to cast a skill, but then the ones that are probably gonna be on these cells are probably gonna be more overpowered, but at the same time they're gonna need you to do something. For example, even in this case, it needs you to get like 4 reports or whatever the fuck that is to be obtained by the allied characters, and then it needs you to have like 2 shake, whatever that is, and then like it lets you deal more damage, and then it lets you get your skill level ups. So yeah, this is very so this is situational, right? It needs something else in order to work. You can't just slap this on, go in the match, and it's not like disruption where you just do where you just cast a skill and then it's the disruption is affected by the units on the field. This is not like that. This needs you to do something in order to gain the buff. Because I have a feeling that these are gonna be very powerful buffs, because already, as you can see, this one not only gives you a skill up but also lets you deal damage to the enemy. Also, like I said earlier in the video about the underbelly damage, about how it's universal and it's applicable to every single character who has it. Actually, I was trying to say that about the 4 report, which is obtained by characters on the field. That is what I was meaning, not the underbelly itself. So yeah, a little bit of a confusion there. But yeah, so what else can the modifier be, right? Frankly speaking, I honestly don't know. I would be lying if I told you. The example that I gave about disrupt immunity is just an example. I don't think that is gonna be the case, but it is an idea, right? So this is already very good. This is like tactics levels of stuff that this cell is allowing you to do. So this is like game changing, to say the least. So let's say if it were to give you weak immunity and then like restriction immunity, which is in the scope of happening, right? That is something that the cells that we already have, they can allow you to restrict, they can allow you to ignore the restricts, right? Because of the shield thingies. Hang on, let me show you guys. Where is my heat at? Yeah. So as you can see, these ones, we already have this in the game. So it wouldn't be too far out of the question to expect that to be along with something like weak immunity, and what I mean by weak immunity is like the one you get from DST Ken, right? Because of the attribute advantage, like immunity from that, like all that stuff. That is in the realm of possibility for sure. So that can bring a lot of characters back from the dead, and it can also make a lot of characters completely useless. Let's say this one of the cells has, you can cast your skill again, like with 100% damage. That would essentially make Hide completely useless. He's already being replaced at the moment by in several factions. But let's say that cell is to come, he would be completely useless. Like there would be no reason to use him whatsoever, right? So yeah, so that's why very important to go over this stuff. This is gonna be stopping a lot of players doing bad investments at this point in time, because I think personally we should be waiting for this. Again, we do not know when this is gonna come out and whatnot, but yeah. So I think that pretty much covers this thingy. Let's just quickly go over what else there is. Oh yeah, one thing I need to mention is that is not shown over here, is that when you look carefully, you can see that the modifier itself is not loaded in right at the moment, but then these lock figures, if you're following my cursor, are still there even though the modifier is there, right? So what are these? So these are gonna be the factors. Now again, like I said before in the video, Jesus Christ, I'm not used to my new modder. So yeah, as you can see, this Hide's attack cell has 3 attacks and a crit damage. Those are the factors. So these 4 lock icons over here are actually the factors. Now what makes me think here is that the factors are going to be difficult to obtain, because in this example over here we can see that the cell has its stats already unlocked, unlike this cell over here, and then it can also give you it also has a modifier, but then it doesn't have the factors. So I'm assuming it's gonna be like you're gonna get the cell from whatever the new mode is. That could be just it could be like the LR limits where you don't really have a mode to fight and stuff. You can just get it naturally. Let's say you can exchange like 5 rank 5 cells to get like one of these, right? So it's probably gonna be something like that, because nothing in the leaks suggests that it's gonna be a mode where you have to grind it manually, right? You're gonna have to grind it regardless. You're just not, it doesn't involve you fighting. So you're gonna get it whatever the obtaining method is, and then once you get it, and this is where the territory comes in, where this is probably, I'm just guessing, but I want you to take into consideration the fact that I had guessed the bonds that we had got into the game where we got level 30, and I was completely right on that one. So if you have not checked that video, I'd be sure to check that one out, just to see that yes, I am quite right on the guesses there. But with that being said, I'm gonna now lay out what my guess is. So like just by looking at this, I can already tell unlocking the cell is gonna be a pain in the ass, because you can't fight it. And if you can't fight it, because in the leaks as of now, there is nothing that suggests that you have to fight anything. So that means this is probably gonna be, you're gonna be exchanging like a ton of cells to get like one of these, which is completely fine. This is meant to be for high-end players anyway. After that, here's where the speculation comes in. After that point, you get the cell which does nothing, which has no modifier, no stats whatsoever, right? Because this is an extra cell. You're not replacing the current ones, you're just slotting this one as an extra. After that, you need to do further bullshit, and then you get the stats, and then you do further bullshit, and then you get the modifier, and then you repeat that process 1 more time or 4 more times to get all the factors. Now, why are the factors so important? The factors are very important, guys. As you can see, the attack, this is not a bonus, this is a percentage increase on top of like the basic stats of the entire unit. This is what gives you the CP. Let's say this HP cell, this let's say it was like a rank, let's see if I have one. Yeah, I have as you can see, a rank 7 or rank 6. No, this is a rank 7 cell over here. So as you can see, this one has 4 attacks, and then all of them have like 1.5 percentage. However, this one's rated higher than the one I have on this Hide, right? And the reason, because is all of them are attack. So when all of them are either attack, HP, or defense, and you have a straight percentage bonus on top of the basic stats, that gives a lot of CP. Not only the stats, but also the CP. The stats directly reflect the CP. Let's say if I had this particular cell and it had all HP, and it would be all 1. 1.5% bonus, then that would give a lot of CP. Like it would be like if we were to compare that cell with anything else in the entire game, that it wouldn't even come close. That cell would be able to give you CP as much as an LR cell gives, and the reason for that is attack, defense, and then HP. That's the order in which the CP is increased. The attack gives the least, the defense gives the least, and then the HP gives the most. And that's a very simple logic behind that. Is because the HP stat is the raw stat is usually the highest, and that is why. So yeah. With that tangent out of the way, holy shit, again, the desktop. But yeah, with that out of the way, that is why the factors are important. Let's say that this cell would have like 5 HP. That's gonna be very good for like a Hide who's just sitting on the field and not doing anything. He's not attacking, he's just sitting there. Oh yeah, he can definitely use that one, and that's gonna be good for the CP as well. Let's say it's an attacking unit, and it lets you choose the factors. That's gonna be absolutely great, but I expect it to be like insanely difficult to min-max the factors. Because in the previous game, if you're not familiar, we were able to use change out the factors, which is no longer available in this one, which makes the cells harder to obtain, though, like the ones we want, right? So I think I'm not really sure that if you are going to be needing to min-max the factors, or they're just going to be set. If they're set, that's fine. If they're going to let you do it, that's fine too. That's in fact going to be better for the game, but I expect FunCat to make it very difficult to obtain the factors if they allow you to like individually grab each one of them, right? So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this one. I think I've pretty much gone over every single one. Some of the part is speculation, but most of it is like directly like game files and UI elements, so pretty much confirmed at this point. But what is not confirmed is when is this gonna be in the game. This is the I should probably just set this out in the start. I actually did with the timing, but another thing that I should have mentioned is that unlike patch notes where we know that for sure this is coming, this is the stuff that we do not know when it's gonna come, right? We know that it's gonna come, but it could always be that be the case that where it can be retconned and they might not bring it ever. Which is probably not going to be the case with something so significant, right? That's usually the case. We have seen that happen in the past. Just for clarity there, I'm not going to hide that fact that this has been the case before. But that's been with like very small things. For example, frames, right? We did have a few frames in the game. Like, they were in the game. But, the example that comes into my mind right away is, let's say, that we had a frame for Juzo, right? But then Juzo ended up, he did in fact come in the game, and then it turns out he just had a different frame, and then that one just never came. So yeah, they can always retcon the things, and they can like bring something else, or they just like throw the idea away completely. That is definitely a possibility, but this seems very plausible that it's gonna come. But yeah, it does have a small chance of not coming, because again, it's not in the patch notes. Again, if this thing does show up in the patch notes and there is no additional information on it, I will probably not make a video on it again. But yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be it for this one. Gonna be seeing you in the next one.